And again, since there are only 2 weeks remaining until expiration Friday in January, we're going to go to the February expiration, as I said, 7 weeks away. And this is what the options chain will look like, and I've pretty much circled for you the highlights of what we need to check when we look at the options chain. Okay, so we see that the stock actually is trading at $34.76 per share. So we're going to look at the strike price 35. Most of the time, that's the one we're going to sell. In a very negative market, the one which we're currently experiencing, we might also take a look at the 30 call so we can get extra downside protection. But under most market conditions, we look at the 35 call. You can see that the 35 call, or I hope you can anyway, we're going to get a return of $2.45 per share, or $245 per contract for 100 shares. The 30 call, we're going to receive $5.40, or $540 per contract. So now that you have that information, get your pen and paper, and let's work out the calculations together. For the $35 call, we have a return of $245. Our cost basis is $3,476 because we've purchased 100 shares at $34.76. So what we do is we divide 245 by 34.76, and that comes up to a return of 7%, a 7-week return of 7%. We multiply that by 7.5, once again because there are approximately 7.5 7-week segments in 1 year, and that will annualize to a return of 56%. Basically, the upside potential, or the amount that we would garner if the stock does go past the strike price of 35, is negligible. It's only 24 cents, so we're not even going to compute that. The $35 strike, for all intent and purposes, is an at-the-money strike price because it's so close to the market value of the stock. Okay, so now let's look at the $30 call. $30 call, we said, is going to garner $540 per contract. But remember now, we have intrinsic value of $4.76 per share, or $476 per contract. What that means is, if our shares are assigned, and they probably will be, and sold for $30, we're going to lose $4.76 per share, or $4.76 per contract on the sale of the stock. We need to deduct that from the option premium of $540. So $540 minus $4.76 gives us a $64 profit on the one contract or on the 100 shares. Now, if we divide that by the cost basis, which now is $3,000, because we're going to take the intrinsic value and deduct that from the market value of the stock. So the $4.76 that we've deducted from our option premium, we're going to buy down the value of that stock. You're going to really need to read the calculation chapter in my book to get this concept. But for right now, for those of you new to this, when we sell an in-the-money strike price like this, what we have to do is deduct intrinsic value from the option premium to get the true option return. So we deduct that and we get a return of $64 per contract. And we divide that by the bought down value of the stock times 100, which is $3,000. $30 per share is the bought down value. 100 shares comes to $3,000. 64 divided by 3,000 comes out to 2.13% 7-week return, which annualizes to 16% as we multiply the 2.13 times the 7.5. Okay, now in this particular example we have a tremendous amount of downside protection. That downside protection is calculated as follows. We take the intrinsic value, the 476, and divide it by the original cost basis, 34.76. Okay, once again, the 476 is the amount that particular strike price, the $30 strike price, is in the money. which is $4.76. The $34.76 is what we paid for 100 shares. And that comes out to 13.7%. So that's the downside protection. What this means is we are guaranteed a 2.13 7-week return as long as the stock does not depreciate in value by more than 13.7%. Okay, so what your choice here is, am I going to take a 7-week return of 7% with no protection, or a 7-week return of 2.13% with a 13.7% downside protection? The answer to that only you can determine. A lot of it depends on the market condition. In a market like we have now, even though that 7% return is very tempting, I would opt for the more conservative 2.13% return with all that downside protection. You're just going to sleep better at night. In an average market or in an uptrending market, absolutely you're going to go for the $35 strike price, which gives you that 7% return. Now there's a lot more to it, and of course the very important subject of exit strategies, because once you sell an option you're going to have to keep an eye on it. A lot of times the stock will go down even though you've screened it so well and you need to act. Other times you'll have opportunities to make even more money by instituting exit strategies. So if you look in my book in chapter 11, we talk about exit strategies, and my next book that I'm currently writing and should be available to the public this spring, I have an entire book devoted to this one subject area of exit strategies for covered call writing. So there you have it, not rocket science like I always say, and I appreciate you folks watching in on this video. I hope you find it helpful, and I look forward to hearing from you in the near future. This is Alan Ellman, thanking you again. Take care.